Bitcoin has seen an explosive breakout resulting in a move to 64,000. In today's video, we're going to be discussing why the macro charts are suggesting a possible target of 80,000 plus. We'll also be taking a look at the altcoin market and the total market in today's video. Let's jump in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Bitcoin has seen an explosive move toward the upside, breaking through the major 63.8k resistance, flying on upwards into the $64,000 region. In today's video, we are going to be discussing why Bitcoin is still primed for a potential move higher, the key levels you should be watching, the altcoin market cap, the macro charts, and so much more. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop of cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. If you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us on VIP. In our VIP group, we post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. We are absolutely printing in this channel. You can go ahead and check it out by the pinned comment in the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more information. Not only will you get access to our main VIP group we just showed you, you'll get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, trading chat, education chat, news, daily video, help, and trade setup chat. Go ahead and check it out if that's what you're interested in, and let's dive into a video. Taking a look at Bitcoin, like we said, we have seen a phenomenal move toward the upside, and we've been prepared for this for quite some time. We told you guys many days ago, and we've been telling you for many days, that Bitcoin, if we were able to see the price sustain above that 58.3k level, we were expecting a bullish move to 64,000, and we have now seen that continuation upwards. Most importantly, with that continuation upwards, we have been able to crack through the critical level of resistance at 63.1 to 63.8. If we look back in the past, the prior time we broke through this region, we saw a strong directional continuation to retest that 72,000 range high, and that is what we are expecting again. We'll get into that in more detail in just a moment. We have also seen a daily breakout on the RSI, which is fantastic, and we have seen both the total 3 and the total 2 break through their respective dotted trend lines, which representation of the mid-level of these descending channel formations. Again, fantastic signs of strength. So as you can see, the market is shaping up to become incredibly strong, and the bulls are really stepping back in control here. So we'll have a lot to talk about today. We'll start on the market data. 24-hour volume is up 63%, sitting at 148 billion. 24-hour liquidations up 126% at a total of 189 million. Of the 189 million in liquidations, 29 million have come from long positions, and 159 million have come from short positions. Moving over to the DXY, we can see the DXY hasn't really seen too much of a change. We are still sitting around that 104 level. It is unlikely we see a dramatic change in the DXY over the coming days, as we do move into some very important economic releases, such as our PCE data, our personal income, and personal spending data in 10 days' time. This is going to, of course, be a leading sign of inflation. We, of course, do have the big one on August 1st, which is going to be the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. And as of right now, the probabilities are stacking towards a potential pivot. Moving over to the broad markets, the S&P 500 opened up the week relatively red, but it has come back and now we're sitting at a green candle. So we're sitting at the price of 5,693, still looking very strong, as we have been saying ever since we retest. In fact, ever since we were down over here, we were telling you we were expecting that $6,000 target. We've made some very, very good progress over here. We are still expecting $6,000 at S&P 500, but if we do drop below that prior high at 5,300, that would be the invalidation of the 6,000 target. Nevertheless, still a massive profit since that overall long position. You can expect to see a directional continuation higher, provided 5,300 is able to sustain. If we drop below it, that would be the first instance of high time frame structural change of character we have seen since the initiation, okay, of the bull run, of the uptrend. Since that uptrend initiated, we had that double bottom formation here. We saw a break of the prior high, and since then we've been establishing higher lows this entire time, clearing our higher highs. So if we do drop below that prior high point, that would be an indication of weakness in comparison to what we have seen in the past, sending the price into a high time frame downtrend. Until then, S&P 500 looks very strong. Enough about that though. Let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin. A quick word from today's video sponsor, BitUnix. Before we do, check them out for 15% off your trading fees and $5,000 in rewards. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs, and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay, MegaWhale team, let's go ahead and get back into it, starting on the short term and building it up to the macro charts. Taking a look at Bitcoin's price action, what we can see over here over the last 24 to 48 hours is that Bitcoin was not only able to break through the major 58.3k level, we were able to break through this 5-week long downtrend. And in yesterday's video, we discussed the significance of this breakout and why it was essentially the first time in 5 weeks we really saw a structural shift in the strength of the price action, and thus an increased probability of a directional continuation upward. We have since seen the expected target of that breakout reach. We have seen that $64,000 region reach, and we have hit that target absolutely perfectly. What we can see now is Bitcoin is sitting just above that 63.8 to 63.1k region. This region is now going to be decided of whether or not we are able to sustain above this level of resistance and thus flipping it into a support, or if we're going to see a failure to remain above this level and thus a continuation back down. Now, of course, we have got 4 minutes until the daily candle close and this 12-hour chart closing, so it's very likely we're going to be able to close a daily above this region, increasing the probability that this level will be sustained as support. So on the assumption that this level is support, that is what we're going to be discussing today. So as we can see, Bitcoin closing that daily candle in 4 minutes, it is very likely we do turn this level of resistance into an area of support. What we can see historically is when we broke through that level of resistance, we saw a strong continuation to the range high. Hence, why we're expecting a continuation into that $72,000 region next. In fact, if you look at this annotation, we have gone ahead and said we are high time frame bullish above 64k, and we are expecting an $80,000 target. And we'll discuss why in just a moment we say 80,000 and not 72,000. But on the short term charts, the next target is going to be the $72,000 region. For Bitcoin to flip bearish again, it would need to break back underneath the 58.3k region. This is still going to be the bullish trigger point, and therefore it is now a bearish trigger point. What we can see underneath this region is we have a large gap in the VRPV, taking us back down to the major support area at 53 to 52,000. So we can say with confidence that the bulls are officially back in control of this price action on the higher time frame, And the bears, or the probability of us seeing lower continuations sub 53k, sub 52, have significantly diminished. So right now, the price is looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and zoom out to the daily chart. What we can see here, guys, is in 2 minutes that daily candle will close, and what a fantastic close it was. Again, over the 50 EMA, we're seeing that close occur with the RSI pivoting and closing above that downtrend, which is a massive representation of the developing and shifting momentum we have seen over the last couple weeks. So let's take a look at this chart. What we can see here is the RSI has been in a downtrend for the past 2 to 3, even nearly 4 months, since essentially the start of May, end of February. What we can see here is that downtrend in RSI is a representation that during this entire cluster of price action, we have been seeing falling momentum. Momentum has been dropping. This is a sign of general weakness and exhaustion. However, what we have seen here in the last few days is that the RSI has managed to break above this downtrend, signifying a positive momentum shift, telling us for the first time during this entire structure on the daily chart, we have seen a positive shift in momentum. This is representative of strength and likely going to increase the chances of Bitcoin continuing up to retest these range highs. More importantly, when we do come up to retest these range highs again, we will be retesting that position from a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness. Remember, the last time we tested it, we did have that slight bearish divergence forming over here, which decreased the probabilities of a breakout, which again resulted in a downward continuation, which went much lower than expected, provided we did see deviation under the macro uptrend. But now we'll be retesting it from a position of strength if the price is able to retest that range high, thus increasing the probability of a continuation through the range high. And if you do remember, this is a horizontal consolidation range, and therefore the likely expected trajectory for the price action once we break through this range, based on the measured move of this range, is going to be into that $80,000 region. To keep it specific, we're looking at around $84 to $86,000 target. Hence why we're sort of the short term, we do have a target of $80,000 plus upon the breakout of this $64,000 region. Now that seems quite wild, as it is a very, very far way away, but we do have other charts to support the fact that Bitcoin is looking fantastically bullish, and we do have the chance to see macro continuations higher. Mainly the chart we are discussing is going to be the 3-day chart. We've brought up the Ichimoku cloud indicator. We're taking a look at the stochastic RSI. We'll be taking a look at the Gaussian channel and the traditional RSI. What we can see first and foremost is that the price action has bounced from the leading span B on the Ichimoku cloud. The leading span B is this bottom red line. What we have noticed historically is when we break below the leading span B, we see significant high time frame corrections. Now these corrections have occurred every single time we have dropped below the leading span B on the 3-day chart in the entire history of Bitcoin's price action. There has been a 100% correction rate for Bitcoin when we see a drop below the leading span B. These corrections span between 15 to 71% on average. So a pretty broad range in terms of how much we see corrections, but we generally see at least a 15% correction at the minimum, which is still classified as a high time frame correction. Now, while we remain above the leading span B, technically Bitcoin is still in an overall uptrend. And we have seen in prior bull markets how when Bitcoin retests the leading span B, it can almost act as a trampoline point to mark the bottom before macro continuations higher. Now, we can confirm this with a variety of indicators, such as the stochastic RSI. If we look at the stochastic RSI, we can see the prior time we retested the leading span B, we had a positive cross on the stochastic. What we can see this time is exactly the same thing. We have seen a positive crossover on the stochastic RSI around about the same time we retest that leading span B, indicating the momentum is likely to spin back upwards. Now remember, this retest occurred at the start of July. We are now 10 days post the point of which we retested, and since then, we have already seen a significant 15% rally for Bitcoin upon the retest of the leading span B. So it does hold a massive degree of significance in terms of historical support and resistance. What we can also notice from the traditional RSI is that the prior time we retested the leading span B, the RSI was sitting at around 32 on this horizontal scale. Now we are sitting, or we retested around 36 upon the retest of the leading span B. This is indicative of strength, not weakness. If we had seen the RSI crack below this level, that would indicate that the strength at this point in comparison to this point was lower than, not greater than this point. This is suggestive of strength developing, and the strength is increasing as we continue higher. This is a good sign. This is a bullish sign for Bitcoin. So those macro charts suggest to us that Bitcoin very likely bottomed at 53,000 and will likely continue upwards on the macro, provided we see the short-term strength continue to develop. There is another chart we're looking at, which is the Gaussian channel. And again, the Gaussian channel lower band sits at around 53,000. Supporting the claim, once again, that this level is a major area of support. And if we were to lose that 53 to 52,000 level at any point, that would be the indication that the bulls have completely lost control. And that is when we fully flip macro bearish, expecting 44,000 to 46,000 as a target. So while we remain above 52 to 53, we are going to be macro bullish. While we remain above 58.3, we do not expect a retest of 52.53. While we remain above 58.3 and 64, we expect 80,000. Those are the short-term directional, I would say, probabilities and directional expectations that we expect based on what we are seeing structurally. Let's go ahead and move over to the total. And this is a very important chart, guys. And we were discussing these charts for weeks moving into these bottoms over here. What we can see is both now the total market cap, which is a representation of the entirety of cryptocurrency. If you just want to get a general gist of how cryptocurrency is doing, the total is a good indication of that. And if you want to look at how altcoins are doing, excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin, then the total 3 is where you should go ahead and check out. These are great indications of how these respective assets within the broader markets, or the broader market itself, is actually developing and performing. And what we can see for both these charts is they have a very similar structure. These descending channel structures are representative of a downtrend, but most importantly, they are reaccumulation patterns. They consolidation patterns before we see directional reversals in the price action. I mean, we generally see upward trajectory trends develop upon the breakout of these downtrending resistances of the descending channel formations. Furthermore, we can also see that on the total 3 and on the total 2 as well, we haven't brought that up, we have both seen directional shifts in the momentum. We have seen positive momentum shifts. Now, if you do take a look at where that occurred, we saw that momentum shift occur in yesterday's candle. In today's candle, we have seen a significant move upwards, so both the total and the total 3 moving through their respective midlines. And this is why I'm going to say I believe Bitcoin is going much higher in the short term as well, is what we can see historically is when we break above these midline levels, and this is over the last 4 months of price action, we have seen directional continuations to the range high, okay? The range high being the downtrending resistance of these channels. I'll show you an example. We saw a breakdown of the channel over here. Let's just go ahead and remove these markings. A breakdown of the channel over here. We saw directional continuations to range low. We saw a break up of the channel. We saw a directional continuation to range high. We saw a break below the channel, directional continuations to range low. A break above the channel, expecting a directional continuation to range high. Exactly the same thing we expect to occur on the total 3, a directional continuation to range high. Now that takes us to the next question. If we retest the range high, where are we likely to see the price go next? Taking a measured move from point A to point B, which is point 1, point 2, applying that distance, okay, not the percentage, the distance to the assumed breakout point. Let's just assume the breakout point is going to be around 5.2 trillion. That would take us to 3.2 trillion as a target for the total cryptocurrency market cap. Applying the same technique to the altcoin market cap from point 1 to point 2, to apply it to the breakout point, we're going to be expecting a 800 plus billion market cap for altcoins, which would far surpass the major yearly resistance which we need to clear to enter the parabolic phase for altcoins. This is going to be the $812 to $840 billion resistance. If we break through here, we enter that parabolic phase. So it is looking absolutely fantastic. Again, it is not fully out of the woods yet. Until we break through these patterns, we are not expecting those directional continuations. At the moment, we are still ranging, right? We are still ranging between the range high and lows. So we could, worst case scenario, see another correction low. However, it is highly unlikely we do see that. If we were to break below the respective low points, okay, these lower low points that have been developed, a break below these respective lower lows would invalidate the possible bullish continuation scenario and most likely result in deviation underneath this channel and thus a potential correction much lower for altcoins and the market. Again, that is a possibility. However, it is a very slim possibility. That is it today, guys. We're going to leave it there. It is looking great. Everything's looking fantastic. Again, focus on the short term, focus on the charts. When in doubt, zoom out and pay attention to what is developing so you don't get caught in a bad position. Let's just say that, okay? So most importantly, guys, again, we're going to just go ahead and wrap up everything really quickly. The total is looking fantastic. The total 3 is looking fantastic. Bitcoin is above a major downtrend and is officially now in an uptrend, breaking through a historical area of resistance, which has resulted in directional continuations higher. Assuming we see the directional continuation higher, which we are very likely to see, as we have confirmed with our macro charts and our daily momentum, we are likely to see a directional continuation into that $72,000 region. And most importantly, if we break through that region, this entire zone of consolidation, this entire area of consolidation will come to an end and Bitcoin will take that next leg up. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Have a great day.